All right, it looks like we're live. And some of you, especially in the US and probably Canada, are wondering why I'm late. Well, we put the turned the clocks back to last night, so we're back to GMT, and I don't think the US hasn't, nor probably Canada. I'm not sure. So we're only 4 hours ahead of the US for the next week or so. So yeah. Anyway, nice to see all of you here. I'm on my own tonight, and yeah, I think Clive traveled to Zurich from Geneva, and today he went back and forth, so he's a bit tired. So he's not on tonight. It's nice to see all of you here. Belly Dance Raver is here, saying he's cooking lamb at the moment. That's nice. I had my wife and I went out for lunch yesterday. I had a nice prime rib steak. Today I played golf. We had a competition in my club. It was England versus rest of the world, and I played for Italy, and rest of the world won. And then we had a roast lamb. We had lamb for lunch with gravy and also mint sauce, which is really good. And then we had apple and cranberry. It was apple and cranberry crumble with um, custard. It was really nice. So there you go. Yeah, they're talking about in the UK that the current government they want to discourage people from eating meat. They want to cut meat consumption. So that's gonna make me more and more determined to eat more meat. Pakistan good. While my handicap, the world handicap system right now, it's 8.4. Yeah, that's where it is, my handicap. Uh, Ian Carline from New Zealand. Echo Echoes here. Andrew Bevan from South Wales. Spock 2024. Lady Cheever. Pablo Pina, Dutch Libertarian. Belly Dance Arabia. Niels Han Dynasty. Yeah, I've seen some of you have been talking about platinum. Yeah, Russia's gonna, I think they're buying the finance ministry. They're gonna buy now platinum, palladium, and silver for their reserves. Matt Bittner, have you ever looked at Eco Petrol? No, I haven't. Bird's custard. I'm not sure what that is. It's just normal custard. Christopher from Cornwall. Best steak in the world in Pakistan. Will never stop eating meat. Yeah, that's good. Niels, platinum. It means little silver, platina or platinum in Spanish, I think. I think it was only discovered as an element in like early 1800s. Yeah, we like pork too. Um, yeah, my wife, we went to the Toby like a couple of weeks ago. Toby is like a steakhouse. It's quite good value, and there's a buffet. And my wife had the pork, and I had the roast beef. They have the best cheesecake in the Toby. DJCY, do you believe the face value of the coin will matter after the reset? Uh, I'm not sure. I mean, unless they're planning to reset it to use it as a face value. But the most important thing that you need to worry about uh, when you buy a gold and silver coin, in my opinion, is the weight of gold that you're getting, the pure weight. Echo Echo, thank you for your super chat. Really hope they don't introduce VAT on gold in the UK for USA people. This is a sales tax thing currently nil in the UK on gold. Oh, so you're saying that if you're an American in the UK and you buy gold, they're going to charge you VAT? I don't think they'll do that. Or if you calling buying from the US and buying from the UK and you're in the US, I don't think they're going to do that, VAT on gold. But anyway, the topic, well, the title of the live stream is The Road to Uncle Sam's Bankruptcy and Jay Powell's Blunder. We're going to come to that in a few minutes. We'll wait till the top of the hour. That's for those of you watching recorded. I usually have a chat with uh, the viewers on the chat and say hello to everyone. And the thing about today as well, you can ask as many questions as you want. We'll try to focus on your questions because a lot of times it's hard for me to answer all the questions in the comment section. The other way you can get me to answer your questions is to join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and you can send me direct messages there. I don't really post anything on Patreon. It's just for the questions. Pakistan Zindagood says never sell your silver. Once it gets to 30 to 1, or less than 30 to 1, begin trading it for gold. Yeah, I mean, one time years ago, I sold some silver because I wanted to pay off uh, uh, a loan. But no, I've got silver that I've had for years and I keep stacking. Mark with a K, can you do an episode on how a Dutch galley slave Piet Hein drove the Spanish Empire into bankruptcy in 1628 by capturing the Spanish silver fleet? That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Scott 49 140. When we see the paper to silver ratio on the US stat clock, 408 to 1 is 408 paper ounces per physical ounce. Does it mean? Well, it just means that it's leveraged 408 to 1. Yeah. Like for every physical ounce of silver that there is out there for trading, there's 408 in paper contracts. That's what it means. Anton Spoji from Bratislava, Slovakia. Hi, Thomas. Good evening. Um, it depends. I mean, the other week I went to Peter Morris in Bromley, and he's not really a bullion dealer. He's a coin and metal dealer, but sometimes people sell him silver, and if it's a second hand, he won't charge the VAT. He wanted to charge. I got him to charge me 29 pounds, and the price was 26. And I checked the dealers and the prices there were like 35. So no, he didn't add VAT. Frank Brown, just wondering, are gold-plated items worth purchasing? No, not really. Not really, I would say. Question from Pakistan. Zindagood. If you could tra travel back to 1971 when Nixon took off the gold standard, what would you do? Well, I was August 1971. I was what 6 years old. Uh, well, if I knew now what I knew when I was six, I would have told my dad to buy a lot of gold, I guess, because he was in charge. I was the kid. Or yeah, it's funny because I actually saw Richard Nixon when I was about 5 or 6. We were in a hotel uh, in the States. My dad went to New York for business. He took the family, and I was walking down across the lobby with my mom and dad, and Richard Nixon was walking towards us, and he waved, and I said to my mom and dad, "Well, that's the president," and they said, "Shh," quiet because I was only 5 or 6, and I said it really loud. So yeah, I walked. I did meet him briefly once. Scott 49 140. If you don't mind me asking again, only reason I ask because isn't each contract 5,000 ounces? So 408 is quite a lot. Oh yeah. The Comex contract is 5,000 ounces. That's right. Well, that's why it's such a big problem. I think Yahoo Finance came out with an article talking about how the big U.S. banks are in trouble for their silver shorts. But this 408 to 1, I guess, yeah, that's COMEX. There's more as well. Excuse me. There's more leverage as well in the London physical market, LBMA. The unallocated market is probably even worse. So it's 9 o'clock. All right. As I said, Mary, any opinion on Sprott Physical? You mean the physical ETF? Yeah, I mean, I think Sprott is a good firm, and Eric Sprott is a good guy, but I still, I still prefer physical. I think they buy the physical Sprott Physical Silver. I think it's called PSLV, the ticker. But I prefer the real thing in my hand. But if you have to buy an ETF, yeah, that's the best one, I would say. The only one, really, not the best one, is the only one that's worth its salt. But if there's a crisis and even they might not be able to deliver it to you. So there you go. Silver Task moderator, thank you. He says hi. Full of Hope is here. Says Rumpelstiltskin, I seriously hope so. I worry it too much. Talking about Rumpelstiltskin, who is in the land of the rising sun or Japan, I saw that they had a general election in Japan, and that the LDP, the ruling party, they've been in power most of the last 70 years. They didn't do really very well, and that could create volatility in the market. So there's something, there's more trouble there in terms of what's happening in Japan. So let's get back to yeah, The Road to Uncle Sam's that's the title. And Bankruptcy. I'm gonna bring up and share with you guys. Uh, a lot of you might know this. So it's how did you go bankrupt? Two ways, gradually, then suddenly. And that is a quote from Hemingway's 1926 novel, The Sun Also Rises. The line is spoken by Mike Campbell in a Pamplona cafe while waiting for a bullfight. The quote has become well known and can be applied to many situations, including financial crises, falling asleep, avalanches, rogue waves, and death. So yeah, gradually and then suddenly. So I'm going to bring up a chart that I worked on this weekend, yesterday. I like doing charts, and it says here gold pointing to fiat dollar perdition. And the reason I brought Hemingway up in two ways, gradually and then suddenly, uh, is because, as you can see from this chart, this is the price of gold, going back actually to 1833, and 100 years is this. Well, this 100 year here, of course, is not, they haven't spaced it out or scaled it like the last 100 years, but that doesn't really matter because it was the price was fixed. Most of the time they're at $20.67, and it was only during the Great Depression that they started devaluing the dollar, and then eventually Roosevelt uh, officially revalued gold to $35 with the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. That was uh, signed into law in January 1934. So for 100 years, the dollar was as good as gold, $20.67. And it was still as good as gold from 1934 to 1971, but they devalued the currency. They defaulted. That was a default because the US government was running out of gold. And why were they running out of gold? Well, because they borrowed billions in during the end of World War II when the US joined World War II. And with these Liberty bonds and whatever you call them, these war bonds, and all these bonds were payable in gold. And they didn't have the gold to pay the bondholders. So that's why that happened. And you had the Great Depression. The banks were going under, and they were bailing out the banks. The government was bailing out the banks, and you can read about that in Benjamin Roth's diary, which is a really good book that I recommend. So yeah, for 100, and then let's say another 40 years, 140 years, the dollar is really real money. It was backed by gold, maybe not domestically, so that was a bad thing. That was a gradual move away from sound money here in 1934. It was only for foreigners, foreign treasuries, they could redeem their dollars for gold at $35. And then we started this process here, August 15th, 1971, the collapse of the Bretton Woods Agreement. And Richard Nixon detached the dollar from gold. And the gradual became a lot quicker, as you can see here. And let's go through. So 1971 to 1980. The only way to stop the dollar here really as a currency from collapsing was that Paul Volcker allowed Fed funds rate to reach 20% in June of 1981. So that really helped the dollar revive in terms of a fiat currency. And for well, the next 20 years or so, gold was was pretty much between 280 and 400, 450, let's say, or it was around here. Didn't do much. It was a bear market for gold for 20 years. And then it started picking up. And why do I think it started picking up? Well, um, because you had China join the WTO, and you had a lot of central banks decided to buy gold because there's too many sales. Yeah, it just happened. It turned. And then here we've got another important event, in my opinion. That was when Ben Bernanke, as Fed chairman, started QE1 after the '08 crisis. And you can see that gold went up to 1920. And then, yeah, it's corrected. And up until recently, we were still unable to break definitively above this level here from 2011. But now we have, and I'm going to enlarge here the chart so you guys can see. We've broken out of this trend line here. And some people might think, yeah, it could correct back down, and they might be right. But I said here, Fed Chairman Powell cuts Fed funds rate by 50 basis points. That was September 18th, 2024. And I think this is a big mistake he made here. And I'm not saying other Fed chairmen or chairwomen would have would have not made the mistake, because I don't think they look at I'm not I don't think Jay Powell and other central bankers are going to be looking at this chart like we are. And I think it's a mistake because gold is so important. But I think he's lost control now, and I, I don't know what's going to happen. But it could be really interesting. It could be the moment where suddenly, right? It's been gradual. Let's get that. It's been gradual since, well, it's very gradual from 1833 to 1971, right? We had this revaluation here, and then it got uh less gradual in the last 53 years, and I think we could be in that suddenly phase. So that's the way I see it. What does that mean? Well, I think it means that um like one of you guys said, the Pakistan guy said, you don't sell your silver, but uh, I think you don't sell your gold here either for fiat currency, because you're going to be making a big mistake. I could be wrong. I mean, and you might need to sell it if you have an emergency, but if you don't have to sell it, uh, and by that I mean that we are at a point where people will not accept. Yeah, that's when the dollar dies, and that's when people don't accept uh, fiat dollars for gold, and that would be a very interesting stage, I think. So I'm going to stop sharing, and hopefully we get some questions here. So we got, excuse me, I spoke for a long time there. Uh, TPAC 5000, thank you for your super chat. Have you ever read the book Empire of Debt by Bill Bonner? Yeah, I do. I think I did. I do have a few Bill Bonner books. Yeah. I have Financial Reckoning Day by Bill Bonner. I might have read Empire of Debt. Yeah, by Bill Bonner, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin is read Financial Reckoning Day. Uh, yeah, I read it a long time ago. Actually still have it here. There you go. Yeah, I read that one. And I think this is like from the first decade of the 2000s. When was this book from? 2003. I bought this like over 20 years ago. I did read it. So, yeah, um, questions now. Carlos asks, will the 10-year bond rates still? Yeah, they are going up, and um, the other thing that happened on Friday, um, and this problem is not just a problem in France, it's all over the West, the fiscal situation. I'll share here. So Moody's cuts France outlook, opening door to credit downgrade. So because the French are having problems as well with their finances. And the problem with the finances is that the economies of the world, especially in the West, they're growing very slowly, but they're up to here in debt, and they're still spending a lot. And the only way to cut the deficits is to really stop spending, but they're not. What they're going to be doing is probably raising taxes, and that's not going to help. I think the only country that's not really going to raise taxes is the US, because the US still thinks that they just can print dollars and everything will be fine. But I think they're making a mistake. So yeah, you can I've got here the UK 10-year gilt yield, and this is very interesting because on Wednesday we're going to get the first budget from the Labour government, and as uh, this is when we had the crisis in 2022, the mini budget. So we are pretty much where the 10-year yield was back then. And it's been rising since the middle of September from below 3.8%. And we're now almost at 430. So, yeah, keep an eye on this on investing.com. If we break through 440, which is around here, this level here, yeah, uh, it means the markets don't like the budget and what the chancellor is doing. And in the US, the same thing is happening. The 10-year is going up, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised because, yeah, so that's a huge problem, the 10-year yield going up. Uh, Chris Conman, thank you for your super chat. When the Fed officially announces that they have stopped the current tightening cycle, will they have any effect on precious metals prices? Well, I guess they, by their 50 basis point cut in September, I think already started they already stopped the tightening cycle. The only way they're still tightening is through QT. So, yeah, I think if they stop QT, it will have an impact on gold, and especially if they announce QE, new QE, if there's another crisis. Stephen Young, thank you for your super chat. Just thank you for your educational videos. Get a drink on the Young family. Oh, thank you, Stephen. That's nice of you. Rumpelstiltskin says Japan will likely find another way to subsidize. Blows me away how they can reduce gas prices through subsidies or subsidizing. Yeah, I was reading about the election in Japan, and where is it? This is from I had heard of this guy. He's worked in the financial markets for years, and it says in the world of money and investment, a key pillar to the bullish Japan thesis has been that Japan is a bastion of political and policy stability. After today's election, this will become more difficult to argue. So I think it could put the Japanese yen back into yeah, into a volatile state this election. I don't think the LDP they've lost the majority, but they're still the biggest party. Um, and it says here, where is it? Because people say there's deflation in Japan, but it says here Shiba's unusually frank admission. He's the prime minister, and people expect him maybe to resign. He would be the shortest serving prime minister in modern Japanese history. Highlighted the risk he took in calling the election. But one thing it says here, disgusted with money scandals at the LDP and feeling the strain of rising living costs, a forum to vent their dissatisfaction. So it looks like the LDP has been caught with their hands in the till, corruption, and rising cost of living. That means I'm not surprised because the yen, the price of gold in yen has gone above 400,000. That means the yen has become worth less. So all those people who tell you that there's a danger of deflation, that prices are going to go down, don't believe them. because uh, Japan's supposed to have had deflation for the last 40 years, and the yen is collapsing versus gold. So there you go. Chris Tippin, thank you for your super chat. Mara, I am in Australia where capital gains tax, capital gains does not apply to coins of the realm. You mean capital gains taxes, yeah. Do you recommend I stack coins rather than bullion? Definitely. I mean, it's the same thing here in the UK. Any coin that's minted by the Royal Mint is coin of the realm, and in Australia, I guess it's the Perth Mint. And when I first bought gold in 2002, I brought Krugerrands because I didn't know about that. And then eventually, I started looking more into gold and researching. I found that um, Krugerrands were liable to capital gains tax. So I swapped a lot of my Krugerrands for sovereigns. I went to Gold Investments and they swapped it for me. Yeah, they took a bit of a percentage. There's no money cash exchange, just an exchange of coins. And that's how I did it. But no, I wouldn't buy. Yeah, I would rather I'd just stack coins of the realm, not bars. Or you mean rather than bullion? But there are Australian coins of the realm that are bullion. I think by bullion you mean bars or anything that isn't minted in Australia. Yeah, you don't buy coins from, yeah, buy Australian coins. They are bullion as well. There's a di yeah, bullion. The modern coins are bullion coins, and they can still be coins of the realm. So I think you're confusing things here. What you don't buy are bars or foreign coins. Yeah, stick to Australian coins, and you won't be liable to capital gains tax. William, PEMCD, can you comment on paper silver ratio of 406 to 1? Isn't real value closer to 12,000 ounces per ounce? Um, so you're basically saying if you multiply 406 by the current price, um, it's it's not that simple, I would say, because there's also a lot of uh people who are long the paper uh gold as well as short. But yeah, the thing is we don't know what the price the real price should be. We just have to wait and see. But I don't think you can't really work it out like that. Um, it will be a lot higher, the real price, but I don't think you can just simply multiply 406 times what, 33. So I wouldn't be looking for $12,000 dollar silver. The way to look at silver is more through the gold silver ratio, I would say. So let's say if gold gets to three, let's say 10,000, I would expect silver to be, excuse me, at least um, $300 you know, a 30 to 1 ratio, and maybe even more if we go back to 15 to 1. Fuzzy Love, who buys bars? I mean, I bought gold bars years ago when I started buying gold because they were, you know, a 50-gram gold bar was 300 pounds. Now it's over 3,000. Um, yeah, I guess the very wealthy, if they have their money offshore, let's say in Switzerland, they'll buy bars. People who have millions of dollars, it's easier to buy bars than like sovereigns. Yeah, I would say is I still have a 50-gram bar. But yeah, so there you go. Uh, Kroiki, do you have a coin ping app? No, I don't. I mean, I only buy gold and silver from reputable dealers like Gold Investments, who I highly recommend. I have an affiliation with Gold Investments, and all their details are below in the description here in the UK. Sometimes I use others, so I don't really feel like I have to test coins. But yeah, I don't have that app. Oh, the other, I've seen a few comments of late, like on the comment section of my videos and sometimes on X, that the dealers are re ripping people off now. That they're paying $60 below spot, for example. And the thing is, if you think about it, uh, big beginning of the year, gold even got below 2000, so or $2,000. So if you do 3% premium on $2,000, that's $60. But now gold is at 2,700, so $60 is actually less than 3% premium. What I'm trying to say here, the higher the gold price goes, the more it seems like you're paying or you're not getting as much as you should, but you should just look at it in percentage terms. I actually think the premiums right now are relatively low and they're going to get a lot higher. So I think it's probably a good time to buy still. Yeah, Rudy loves meat. That's right. Someone said that. Ryan Morosi, Trump or Harris better for gold? Uh, I've spoken to some of my friends who worked in the markets for a long time. They think it could be Trump because he's gonna bring back the tax cuts. Not that tax cuts are bad, but the thing is, probably gonna cut taxes and he's not gonna cut spending. And yeah, I think he's gonna let it rip. So there you go. Scott 49, have you heard in the budget they could remove £3,000 exemption from capital gains tax? And for higher taxpayers, they want to raise. Yeah, I mean, there's so much speculation about the budget. I mean, up until 3 years ago, I think the threshold for capital gains tax was £12,000, and it was the Tories who cut it down to three. Yeah, I mean, it's really bad what they're doing. If they cut even the 3,000, if there's no threshold, it's going to discourage people from investing, from yeah, building a nest egg. I think it's going to hurt, unfortunately. It's going to hurt the stockbrokers in the city of London, I think, because people won't invest as much. Yeah, they're doing all the wrong things, the current government. And the big picture for me is that they think that by extracting wealth, excuse me, extracting wealth from wealthy individuals, from savers, and then pumping it into the public sector, they think it's going to produce growth, which is completely upside down. The way you produce wealth and growth is by cutting the size of government and incentivizing the private sector. And then, yeah, you cut the size of government and then you get even bigger tax receipts. It's completely mad. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are leaving. One of the guys I played golf with, he's like in his mid 40s, and he said he's hearing a lot of the people he knows, uh, dozens and dozens are leaving the UK to go work somewhere else. William, do you see nuclear energy making resurgence for power supply? Yeah, I'm not. I've done a few promotional videos for uranium companies, and I think it will make a comeback, and it is like I think in China they're building loads of nuclear power plants, power supplies, and I'm not sure how how important platinum is. I'm not really uh, it's not my specialty, but maybe you know better than I do. That you need platinum maybe for nuclear reactors? Is that what it is? If so, yeah, it should help platinum. And platinum is undervalued, of course, in relative terms versus gold. Ruby says Trump can't cut taxes or spend on his own. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, the Congress has the power of the purse, but he can influence Congress. That's what presidents do. And if Trump wins and Congress goes Republican, it will be a lot easier. And it seems to me, Ruby's 200, that it doesn't matter who's in power. They always, in the end, they always spend, be it Democrat or Republican. So there you go. Yeah, and the Congress has to approve his tax cuts as well. But that's what he's going to gun for. And if he wins big and both houses go Republican, he'll have the mandate to do it. Of course, if the house, both houses remain or go Democrat and he wins, it will be a lot harder. Pablo Pino, do you think Powell will cut another 50 in November? I think it will be 25. If it's 50, then you could see gold at $4,000. Yeah, and I think the meeting is, yeah, it's just after the election starts on the 6th, and the decision's on the 7th. So it will be Thursday next week already. No, not this coming week, the week after next, this week. New Hans Dynasty says, "Ask me. I know about platinum." Well, there's a question there about the relationship between nuclear and platinum. Maybe you can tell us. Uh, William says it seems platinum is used in waste process in large part. Okay, sometimes ceramics use in place. Mark Ritchie says Rick Rule said uranium is on another run. The other thing about uranium I saw today is that Kazakhstan, they're the biggest producers of uranium in the world, and they've just become a BRICS partner, BRICS plus partner, which means they're going to join BRICS. So that's not good for the West. I mean, the US uses 20% of the electricity generated in the US comes from nuclear power, and the US produces almost zero uranium. So, yeah, uh, there are companies like UROI, Uranium Energy Corporation, UROI and UEC in the U in North America. I think they're good bets because they're trying to develop extraction of uranium in North America. And if Trump wins, I think uh, it will be easier in terms of regulations to mine for uranium in the US. So yeah, um, interesting times. Ryan Morosi, do you trade gold futures? Do you think the futures market will run out of physical metal? No, I don't trade futures, gold futures. I did many, many years ago. Well, the gold futures market is not really a physical market. If everyone that bought gold futures and stood for delivery, yeah, there wouldn't be enough metal. But yeah, the gold futures market is just a bucket shop. It's just a betting shop. Just people speculating in the price for fiat fiat profits. And if too many people were to stand for delivery, the exchange would just yeah, they wouldn't deliver and they would declare, they would say, we're gonna pay you in cash, your profits, not in gold. So yeah, COMEX is just like a scam, in my opinion. And so is the LBMA. The LBMA, most of it is unallocated. It's all a market to make gold speculative and keep people away from buying real physical gold. So no, I don't trade gold futures. I think by trading gold futures, you're playing into the banker's hands because you keep that paper game going. I've always said that stacking is the best thing. And I used to say it even before the silver squeeze movement started in 2021, many years before that, even before I started this channel, I always told people buy the real thing. But some people they don't want to do the research and for some reason they think it's weird buying physical gold, which is strange to me. I think it's the best thing you can do financially. Oji, oh, excuse me. Thank you for your super chat. Remember the 5th of November. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, Guy Fawkes night. It's a really important date in England and the UK, the 5th of November, and you're having the US is having the elections on the 5th of November, and the UK election this year was on the 4th of July. So it's interesting how it works. Rodney Brown from Brisbane, Australia. Hi, Rodney. Zabinator says, wish Aussie would join BRICS. Well, you never know. You never know. David stops, buy $30,000 of gold or pay off 30,000 off mortgage. Well, I'll do half and half. Uh, buy $15,000 of gold and pay off 15,000 of your mortgage. That's what I would do. It's not financial advice. Uh, if Powell is losing control, are the bond vigilantes back? Yeah, it looks like they are. Yeah. I mean, the 2 year yield, which is a short-term rate, uh, relatively short-term, is risen from 3.5 to above 4% since he cut rates. Farm dogs. The lady at the bank told me to buy paper gold and stay. And she would say that. Oh, Alan, you're welcome and thank you. Farm dogs. Australia is too woke to join BRICS. Well, you never know. Things can change. Where do I see bonds going? I think bond yields are going to continue to rise, especially like anywhere from 7 years onwards. Yeah, they're going to keep rising. So the yields, which mean the prices will go down. The Fed can better control the shorter term rate, but not the longer term. Yeah, I saw also that mortgage rates in the 30-year mortgage rate has gone up quite a bit in the States. Where is it? I think, oh, here we go. Yeah, that's because if treasury yields go up, mortgage rates go up too. So here we go. Mortgage rates back over 7%. 30-year mortgage rate now, 7.35, highest level since July. So there you go. That's not going to help. And here's a story about Kazakhstan now has a BRICS plus partner status. Uh, and good luck with West's uranium supplies. Really cold thinks we are only half time in the present gold and silver bull market. Yeah, and there's one thing I've looked at, and I'm going to bring back that. Oops, I'm going to bring back this chart here, the gold long-term gold chart. So I think I've spoken about this before, but maybe not. So 1933 here to 34, you can see the gold price went up from $20.67 to 35. So that was a reset, right? So 1933. So and the gold silver ratio, sorry, the Dow gold ratio got down to around 2 in 1933. So that was a reset. And if you add 47 years, you get 1980. And that was, I think, the last reset we had. The Dow gold ratio got down 1 to 1. The gold price went up to 850, and the Dow was at 850. So that took 47 years. So if you add 47 to 1980, you get 2027. So yeah, I think we have another 2 to 3 years to go. And that's why I think yeah, this is could get quite interesting here. And I think you need to sit tight. You need to hold on to the bull because it's going to get really, you're going to have days where gold is going to move 100, $200 up or down because we're going to be trading in a lot higher nominal prices. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Seth Shepard. Yeah, I do have silver miners. Yeah, I guess. Is it? I don't have junior silver miners. I have producers. So yeah, mining is a speculative investment. T-Pack says Mario's hurting. Yeah, I've had a cold and it's much better, but I've been talking here. My throat's getting a little bit, but I feel all right though. Stock A copulous reverend of middle class says gold is trash. All right. I think he's in the wrong live stream then, but that's his opinion. Farm Dogs Mary were my favorite economic YouTuber. Oh, thank you. Sasha B, how long to collapse? Uh, what collapse and where? I mean, if you look at the economy here in the UK, everything's collapsing. There's still, some places that are doing okay, but yeah. Chris Conman, your thoughts on owning, thank you for your super chat. Your thoughts on owning pre-1933 gold? Oh, I think it's great, especially in the US. I have some pre-33 gold coins. They're probably better than the bullion coins, in my opinion, because they're actually circulating coins. And I think, yeah, there's some that are more rare than others, and you pay a big premium than numismatic ones. But there's some that are really plentiful, and you can buy just like bullion. So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer for people in the US pre-33. And I think it's still in the books that they're collector's coins, so they wouldn't be liable to confiscation. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm not sure if that is still in the books, but I'd have to check. Quentin Lewis says, if you believe in game theory, nobody wants a collapse, so it will be a slow, agonizing slide. True, but just think of the European sovereign debt crisis in 2011, 2012. That wasn't a slow, agonizing slide. So there you go. Um, Eli, thoughts on selling versus renting out a home in California right now? Oh, well, yeah, I'm not, yeah, I don't keep in touch too much with the California real estate, but I think if as an individual or a family, if you can buy, yeah, if you already own a home and you don't have a mortgage, keep it. Uh, yeah, because it's your place, but if you sell it and then rent it, you got to make sure you have the income to pay the rent. I think it's always better to buy anyway. So Darren Booman, with the increasing amount of bank branch closures, can you foresee a cyber issue or bail-in to instigate the changeover to digital soon? Yeah, I mean that's always possible, but I think people are starting to maybe wake up. Let's hope about digital and cash. I think Norway just went back to having cash again because they realize, if there's a problem, you won't be able to use uh, your card or digital. But maybe the bankers do want us. They might instigate a crisis for that. Abi Abhishek Kumar. I think it's silly to think of gold as money, but it's what is considered. of as values by human, and you have to go with consensus, even if it's a stupid one. Um, why would it be stupid if it's been used as like a store of value or money for thousands of years, and it's worked? So I think it would be stupid if it had, if we knew it wasn't and someone tried to bring it back. So yeah, I don't really see your point there. So you're basically saying it's okay, but it's because humans are stupid. Well, Zabinator says nearly time for liftoff. Well, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Kumar says because it's just a metal. Well, um, if you look at the Austrian School of Economics, the regression theorem of money, and what that means, you have to go back in time to see how money evolved. And so before you had money, you had barter. People bartered value for value. But the problem with barter is that uh, it's an indirect exchange. Well, it's direct exchange, and you might not have something that the person who has something that you have had, you might not have something that he wants. He might have something that you want, so you can't exchange. So through trial and error, people found that there's always a commodity, it can be anything that everyone wants. And through time, people found that people always wanted gold and silver and that it held its purchasing power. Yeah, and they're precious metals. They're not just metals. And why are they precious? Because they're very rare and difficult to find. And for some reason, human beings like gold and silver. And that's why it became money. So, yeah, maybe it's stupid, but uh, it's money that allowed the world to specialize, because when you don't have money and you have barter, it's really hard to become self-sufficient. But when you have money, people can specialize in different professions and the world can move, the economy evolves. So I think gold is really important and will continue to be important. Some people think Bitcoin might be the next thing. I don't. So there you go. William PMCD, are you familiar with Tony Seba's work? He makes some bold claims about enormous tech change coming soon. No, I haven't heard of Tony Seba. In Durama, if you have no need to, however, what price threshold would you consider selling some of your physical precious metals? I would only sell it for the currency if I found an asset that is really, really undervalued that I want, but not just to hold the fiat currency. It would be selling it for fiat would be just the bridge to get to another asset that I think is really good value. So yeah. Or I guess if I had the price, so I don't have really hold my gold as money, and when I think there's something that is good value, I'll exchange it. But I won't just sell it to hold loads of fiat currency. No, I never do that. Even though I think, yeah, you should have some fiat currency for everyday transactions. Ryan Thomas from South Carolina. Hi, Ryan. Rumpelstiltskin says, thank you for your time tonight. You're welcome. And any thoughts on the election, Rumpel, in Japan? Do you think it's going to be create trouble, or is just going to go back to normal? We've got about 7 minutes, so yeah, ask your questions. Uh, Endurama, thank you for your super chat. Says, thank you, Mario. Very sound advice. Grant Harding will silver reach 50 and fall off like in it did in 2011. I think it was 2011, Grant. Not, yeah. No, I think this time silver will blow right through 50. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna have a triple top. That's my view. I could be wrong. You could be right. Uh, Natas Iber. Could we have two gold prices depending if BRICS? I mean, some months ago, the Shanghai price of gold was like had a big premium. Right now, it hasn't. Silver still has a premium, the Shanghai silver. Uh, but when you have two prices, unless there's price controls and or export controls, yeah, there will be two prices. But when it's a free market, no, it's really hard to have two prices because there's something called arbitrage. So, speculators or yeah, people will buy the, in the US and Europe for a lower price and sell it for a higher price somewhere else in China. But if China, I think Hong Kong, yeah, and Hong Kong is a market that's pretty free. So I think, yeah, uh, arbitrage would make sure that, and gold is the most liquid commodity, and so there's people will always exploit the difference there. Of course, it depends on the cost of shipping, but yeah. Mark CH, do you think John Perez will be right about his prediction of the attack in the transatlantic cables? Uh, yeah, I mean, I interviewed him and he spoke about that. Um, he could be right, but I think it's only very speculative. I wouldn't be counting on it happening, but who knows? Even though, the powers that be and the think tanks that they run talked about it. So who knows, as I said. John McDermott, I have some large bars where to refine to smaller rounds or bars in California. Um, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know really. I mean, is what's it called? I forgot, but they will charge you, I think it might be easier just to sell and buy smaller bars. There's a mint, I think, I forgot the name now of the mint, but you could ask them. I would Google it, private mints, because there are private mints, and that's what I would do. But make sure you check if it costs more for them to refine it into smaller bars than it costs you to sell and buy. Sell and buy. Chris Conman says, thank you for educating us with your vast knowledge. Oh, you're welcome. I try my best. Seth Shepard sees $100 per ounce for 1 ounce silver in 24 months. Yeah, that's very realistic, I would say. Uh, crypto Cryptomon, not the rug pull. I see $666 silver. Will that be the high, Cryptomon? Oh yeah, it's Carlos says it's a that's the mint I was trying to I was thinking about. It's the Sunshine Mint. That's right. I think yeah, ask the Sunshine Mint. There's a Scottsdale Mint as well. Yeah. Sometimes you forget things. Uh, I guess the older you get as well. David West is only Brian proof silver coins. Are they good investment in your opinion? I would stick to just the normal coins. Um, yeah, if silver goes to $300, does it really matter if it's proof or bullion? And I think the proof coins cost a bit more. So I would stick to just the normal coins, unless someone's selling the proof coins at a really good price and you like it. I have some proof coins. Oh, we got a minute to go. Yeah. I like Echo Echo. I like to see more banks open with vaults so people can store their gold with co confidence. I don't have confidence in the banks, Echo Echo. Uh, they used to store up until the 80s. NatWest and all the banks, they used to store gold, and then they stopped it. And one of the reasons gold investments stayed in business because of that. They did a lot of business with the banks because they stored the gold for the all the high street banks clients. But no, I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to have a banking collapse and new banks prop up because I don't trust the current crop of banks. Yeah, just be, yeah. I mean, Gold Investments, they have a private vault, and they insure it. I think they're reliable. So if you're looking to store gold, check out Gold Investments here in the UK. My affiliate below in the description. Stephen Young, silver capital gains tax-free coins. Yeah, they're in the UK. Britannia's any coin of the realm that's silver, there's no capital gains tax. Uh, it doesn't apply. All right. Looks like it's time, and it's 10 o'clock, which is actually 11 o'clock, uh, kind of de facto because we we moved our clocks back. So I'm getting a little tired. So I'm gonna thank all of you for being here and for all your support and all the super chats. I appreciate it, and I wish you all a very good uh, end of the weekend and beginning of the week, wherever you may be.